All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. And hey, we're back doing Thursdays again. What's going on, guys? My name is Jay. The YouTube channel is called Trippin with Jay. And we typically talk about travel vlogs, or sorry, we do travel vlogs. We talk about some controversial things when it comes to travel and a special focus on Africa. And we do travel reaction videos as well. So we cover a myriad of different topics on the channel. And I saw this topic about Bill Gates wanting to start some contraception in Africa. And some people were saying that, oh, Bill Gates wants to sterilize Africa and decrease or depopulate Africa. And I wanted to look for myself because when you typically read headlines on news, they're just trying to get clicks or they're trying to get views. But I wanted to look into it myself and verify certain facts and separate those facts from or certain things from fiction, right? So I became very interested in this because I don't think there's been a problem in Africa before when it comes to contraception or having kids or having a family. But when I started to look a little bit further into it, there are quite a bit of amount of women that do get pregnant in Africa that are like impoverished or don't have the resources to properly take care of their baby during the pregnancy process and actually end up passing away. So maybe this isn't so bad, or maybe it is. So I got a few articles here that we can check out. And I think the first one kind of goes into depth a little bit more. So this is from The Voice of Africa. The title is World's First 8-Year Contraceptive to be Introduced by the Gates Foundation in Kenya. And we're going to just read it. Hopefully you guys can see it pretty well. So in a significant advancement for global reproductive health, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have announced the launch of a groundbreaking long-term contraceptive aimed at empowering women. And guys, when you hear the word empowering women, you're going to hear that a lot in much of the different sources that we have here. You're going to hear that that's like an ongoing theme that you're going to keep hearing over and over again. So keep that in mind. Aimed at empowering women through better family planning options. This innovative contraceptive, which can prevent pregnancy for up to 8 years, is being introduced in Kenya, Nigeria, and India, with broader distribution plans for other countries in the future. Revolutionizing family planning with long-term contraceptives. So Anita Zaidi, president of the Gates Foundation's Gender Equality Division, shared details about the new hormonal IUD, highlighting its design for affordability, accessibility, and ease of use. This hormone-releasing IUD represents a new era in contraception, providing a reversible and low-maintenance solution for women seeking long-term pregnancy prevention. This is interesting, man. I'm going to skip down a little bit further. And in addition to the new IUD, the Gates Foundation is accelerating access to DMPA-SC, a self-injectable contraceptive that offers convenience and privacy. This injectable method is being rolled out in 35 countries, including 8 across Africa: the Republic of Congo, Madagascar, Malawi, Nigeria, Senegal, Uganda, and Zambia. So they're trying to introduce this contraceptive wave throughout most of Africa, as we can see here. So DMPA-SC allows women to self-administer the contraceptive at home, a key feature that enhances autonomy and addresses barriers such as travel to clinics or stigma in seeking reproductive health services. Here comes the money part of it. So how is this stuff being paid for? And obviously, with the Gates Foundation being from Bill and Melinda Gates, they have substantial resources financially to fund projects like this. So the launch of these contraceptive options is part of a $2.5 billion commitment by the Gates Foundation to support research and innovation in women's health over the coming years. The funding, which translates to approximately, 324 billion Kenyan shillings? And my Windows is about to restart. Targets critical gaps in healthcare that disproportionately affect women and girls, especially in underserved regions. Okay, so let's see. So these are the top reasons that they're doing this. Improving maternal and obstetric health, advancing gut health and nutritional outcomes, enhancing menstrual and gynecological. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so sorry. Gynecological. Oh, I'm done. I'm cooked. Care. Expanding contraceptive choices and accessibility, combating sexually transmitted infections in women. This is interesting. So with this, and this isn't new. This was just posted on August 8th. What kind of gives me like the chills is that if you look back at the YouTube channels for Bill and Melinda Gates, they've been trying to execute this in Africa for more than a decade, for years. So this is the scary part, right? So I pulled up multiple videos from their official YouTube channels. All of them, and we'll get to this too. This is Bill Gates wants to end starvation in Africa with GMOs. That's crazy. So they are touting this as giving women power. But I haven't really heard a lot of women in Africa actually wanting something like this. So it appears that it is being forced upon the population to control the population, or at least the amount of people that are being born. That's what I'm actually seeing. So let's actually start off with this. This video is actually from the Gates Foundation's YouTube channel. It's called Family Planning and Contraceptive Solutions for Women. This one is kind of creepy. So let's watch it.
To work. Family.
Y'all notice the color that they of the characters in this entire video? It's kind of creepy, bro.
Planning programs boost education if they can't do it all by themselves. Women in Kenya, Malawi, and India want this power. They've told me over and over, woman to woman, just like...
While I agree that women should have the power to control when they get pregnant, I think abstinence actually helps that. Like, why do they need IUDs? Why do they need IUDs for Africa? That's what I'm not understanding. Like, why IUDs? Why not be like other methods of contraception that don't involve messing with hormones with the woman? Why not introduce condoms? Right? Why are they doing this? And this is from 13 years ago. So they've had this type of mindset since 2012, if not before. And we have another one. This one is even scarier, bro. It says, Melinda Gates, contraception is the greatest anti-poverty tool in the world. What does that even mean? I thought you were trying to empower women. But now you are also lumping poverty into having kids in developing countries. So which one is it? Are you trying to empower women and make sure that they can succeed in society? Or are you trying to battle poverty? It can't be both, right? Let's find out.
And also entitlement spending. Here's what she said.
I would say our biggest risk that we took was stepping into this contraceptive space. Because of intense political pressure in the United States and some religious pressure, the global health community had backed off on contraceptives. And in 2012, we led an initiative and stepped back in because it is the greatest anti-poverty tool in the world. When women can time and space the births of their children, the children are healthier, they can educate the kids, women can stay in school longer, and they can enter the workforce. We forget in the United States that it was the advent of the birth control pill that allowed women to work. And I believe that women should be able to do whatever they want, raise a family, work, or work and raise a family. But without contraceptives, they can't realize that dream.
Do you think the issues around Medicaid?
Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Contraception doesn't enable all of that for a woman. It's actually the woman's ambition. If she wants to enter the workforce, fine, into the workforce. But you don't have, shouldn't be forced to take contraception in order to unlock being able to enter the workforce. This type of mentality, man, it low key, like when I listen to this, like the delivery is amazing. But when you actually listen to what she's saying, it sounds a little bit it sounds a little evil. Not even going to cap or hold y'all up. But if you guys listen to what she's saying, because first we heard that the contraception is used to empower women, and then on the other foot, it's saying that it's the greatest anti-poverty tool in the world. Which I don't believe that, bro. I don't believe it.
Care, Medicaid are potentially destabilizing from an economic standpoint?
I think they could be. We know that we have the highest healthcare costs in the world, and we have a phenomenal healthcare system. However, the costs are disproportionate in terms of our GDP right now.
Key to giving back and giving money and helping the next generation is capitalism. The ability to earn a return on your investment. Where do you fall in capitalism? Is it broken? What tweaks need to happen?
I absolutely want to live in a capitalistic society. And the people I meet in so many countries in Africa and Asia want to live in the United States because of capitalism and democracy. We don't have it all right, though. And so I think it's time for us to relook at our tax policy. We should be taxing the wealthy more than middle class more than low income. We have too much inequity in society, so we need to have some of these policy discussions, and we need to tweak our capitalistic system so it works for everybody, not just the wealthy.
She has no idea how capitalism works, by the way. It doesn't work that way. It will never be equal in a capitalistic society. That's why it's called a capital. Oh my gosh. I think that's leaning more towards socialism, but that's a whole different discussion. We're talking about how the Gates are trying to sterilize Africa and depopulate the continent.
So Melinda Gates has truly seen it all. She is always traveling.
Nah, she has not seen it all, bro. Okay, that one was a little scary too, because I don't think they know what they're trying to solve here, essentially. So let me get out of this and this one too. I think we watched this one. And then another video from Bill Gates himself. It's only a minute long, so it shouldn't be too bad. Let's see what he says, man. I haven't seen any of these videos before.
Hi, this is Melinda Gates. It's amazing what a contraceptive can do. When a woman has the power to decide when to get pregnant, she has power over her future. She can protect her own health because she can wait to have a child until her body is ready for it. And she can protect her child's health because she can space her pregnancy so that her body recovers each time.
What?
And when a woman can plan her family, she can plan to invest more in each child, to pay for doctor's visits and medicine and nutritious food. Children who are well-nourished and healthy do much better in school, and children who do better in school go on to earn a better living.
This?
As a result, they have more to invest in their children and their community. It seems like a simple thing, a pill or a shot or an implant or a condom, but it triggers a virtuous cycle that makes everybody's life better. That's because empowered women transform societies.
That's strange, bro. She's like, oh, let's space out your pregnancy so you can spend more time with each child. I'm like, okay, but nature there are a lot of people that have kids back to back, right? And nothing wrong with that. That's how nature kind of works. Like, you have a baby, your body recovers, and then you get pregnant again. That's how it's supposed to go. And another layer of control that they're trying to kind of push on the people is kind of crazy, man. And these are old videos. So we're looking at stuff that are almost a decade old, right? So these folks have been trying to do this for a long time. They're trying to push their own influence onto the continent of Africa.
When I got into this contraceptives work, it definitely wasn't something I had planned to do. When I'd be out talking to women in the developing world, and I'd be there to talk about vaccines, but they would bring it up and they'd say to me, don't you see, if I could choose when I have my next child, it would be more fair to these children. We take it so for granted in the United States. We use these contraceptives, and it's what has allowed me to plan the number of children I would like to have and to work. And yet, we're not allowing these women to have them simply because we've become afraid. We've become afraid as a world of talking about what we need. We can't take our fear and then not serve women what they actually need and want, and to keep themselves and their children alive. That just doesn't make sense. This is Sadie Sine, and I met her in Niger, and I was talking with her about contraceptives. She finally said to me, why do I have to walk, almost 10 miles, for her it was kilometers, but 10 miles to get my contraceptive tool, and then sometimes it's not there. Sadie's one of the people I carry in my heart because that question of why not? So this is Mary, who I met in Korogocha slum with her 3 children, and she'd started this backpack business. What she said to me is, life is hard here, yet when I can do this, when I can, make these backpacks and sell them, things get better for me and my kids. Her ability to use contraceptives means that if she doesn't choose to have any more children, which she was seriously contemplating not, she can sew and do what she wants, and she and her kids can go to market, and she can sell more backpacks, which means more economic opportunity for her. Margaret Balachi.
What? I understand the economic part of it, but you can still, honestly, you can still make backpacks if you're pregnant. This is crazy, man. This is like, they're really trying to push contraceptives on a region of the world that really doesn't, I don't think they're asking for it.
She said something to me that I'd never even thought of. She said, you will all call this family planning. And she said, yes, we're planning our families, but it's really about planning our futures. That if we can plan our futures, we can plan for them and know when we will have children, then we can make decisions about our lives. And I thought, wow, she really nailed it.
Man, this stuff is scary, bro. Like, this is crazy. Like, what do you guys think about this so far? Do you guys think that Bill and Melinda Gates are trying to sterilize Africa or depopulate the continent? Like, this is absolutely wild. And we'll get to that. We'll get to this towards the tail end of it. This is crazy. But, we need some help from AI to kind of like simplify things for some folks out there in case you guys don't know what any of this stuff is or what this means. So I asked Gemini. Gemini says the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has announced the introduction of a new IUD that can prevent pregnancy for up to 8 years. This device is being rolled out initially in Kenya, Nigeria, and India, and is considered the longest lasting contraceptive currently available. This initiative is part of a broader $2.5 billion investment by the Gates Foundation aimed at improving women's health and expanding access to long-term family planning solutions, particularly in low and middle-income countries. The Gates Foundation emphasizes that the new program focuses on empowering women and girls to make informed decisions about their reproductive health and ensuring their access to contraceptive options that meets their needs. The foundation is also committed to investing in research and development for new and improved contraceptive technologies, including a 6-month injectable and non-hormonal options. While the initiative has received praise, concerns have also been raised about the ethical implications of externally funded family planning initiatives in Africa. That latter part is what we're discussing right now. The concerns is that they're trying to push contraceptives on a part of the world that doesn't necessarily need them or hasn't asked for them at all, right? They haven't asked for this. So why are they doing this now? They've been making videos on YouTube about empowering women with contraceptives for over a decade. So why now in 2025? Okay? So I found this article at Business Insider Africa, and it says Gates Foundation's New World First Contraceptive for African Women, what it means for Africa. So let's dig a little bit deeper and see what this actually means for the women of Africa, because this is what it's for, right? This is who it's for. This isn't some type of power grab to depopulate the continent, right? The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is set to launch a new long-acting contraceptive in Africa, beginning with Kenya later this year as a part of a $2.5 billion commitment to accelerate research and expand services for the health of African women. And we see the guy that everybody thinks is pure. This innovation by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation follows research showing poor health outcomes for African women, particularly those in underserved communities and limited R&D funding for women's health conditions beyond cancer. Quote, unquote, today, women's health issues are still often misunderstood, misdiagnosed, or ignored. Although women generally live longer than men, they spend 25% more of their lives in poor health. And this is from a director from Women's Health Initiatives. And the new contraceptive, an affordable hormonal intrauterine device, or IUD, is designed to be effective for up to 8 years and will provide a discrete option for women in low-income households. Let's see. So what does this mean for them? The device is okay. We know what an IUD is, bro. Let's see. Man, this might be propaganda, bro. The foundation emphasized that the new program will ensure that that women and girls in low and middle income countries can access the contraceptives and family planning information they want, and thus exercise their right to decide whether to have children, and if so, when and how many. Dr. Anita also noted that the program builds on the foundation's 25-year work in maternal and child health, aimed at ending preventable deaths, eliminating deadly infectious diseases, and lifting millions out of poverty by 2045. Many women in these communities want to have control over their reproductive health, but do not use existing contraceptive methods because of male interference. What? What? Male interference? What does that even mean? Concerns about side effects or lack of access to options that meet their specific needs. As a result, nearly half of all pregnancies worldwide, about 45%, are unplanned, the foundation said. I wonder where they got that statistic from. 45%? Okay. Let's see. This is an important part. Why is Africa the focus? According to the foundation, Sub-Saharan Africa has some of the highest rates of unmet need for family planning globally, with barriers ranging from cost and distance to health facilities to cultural opposition. Cultural opposition. Read that carefully. Cultural opposition. That could be religious. That could just be something that they believed for years and years and years, that, hey, maybe we shouldn't be using contraceptives and just let nature do its thing when it comes to pregnancy. So the Gates Foundation appears to want to circumvent this because they want women to be empowered. But this is really insane, man. If you're really reading this for what it is, the Gates Foundation, they're really trying to push their agenda in Africa. Let's continue. Many countries also face high rates of adolescent pregnancies, maternal mortality. Those are two that I think that are very valid points for contraceptives, and limited reproductive health infrastructure. By targeting Africa, the initiative seeks to provide longer-lasting, affordable options in regions where demand for family planning remains largely unmet. As Melinda French Gates. I think that they're divorced now, so I think that's her maiden name or her middle name. Contraceptives are one of the most powerful tools we have. It puts the power in the hands of young girls and women to plan their families and, quite honestly, to plan their futures. Potential implications. However, some critics raise concerns that contraceptive programs in Africa may be perceived as externally imposed population control. That hit the nail right on the head, guys. Let's read that one more time. However, some critics raise concerns that contraceptive programs in Africa may be perceived as externally imposed population control. That's it. That's why I made this live stream, to read that line there. This is the issue that people are having with this push for contraceptives in Africa. People don't want them. They don't want them. Melinda Gates talked to like 3 women in the entire continent of Africa that wanted contraceptives, and now the foundation is pushing it on the entire continent, which is crazy to me. Let's continue. This notion further suggests that the continent is being used as a testing ground for global health innovations, noting that similar large-scale rollouts are less visible in wealthier nations. Bruh. Africa is not a guinea pig, bro. Considering concerns from billionaires like Elon Musk and Western pro-life activists about declining populations in their own countries, we'll get to that after that. We'll get to that point after we finish reading this, which highlight contrasting demographic priorities. Critics argue that the new program not only focuses on population control, but also risks taking away one of Africa's major advantages, its growing population. Reading this last part hits the nail on the head perfectly, because if you guys don't know, we as an entire population on Earth, we're facing a population collapse. So not enough people are being born to outpace the people that are passing away. So essentially, there's going to come a time where we don't have enough people to support certain infrastructures around the world. We're not going to have enough people to be taxi drivers. We're not going to have enough people to flip burgers at Burger King or McDonald's. We're not going to have delivery drivers. What are you talking about? Bro, the stream is about the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation looking to push contraceptives on Africa and essentially sterilize and control the population of Africa. It's in this last part here in this article from Business Insider. So this is legitimate. I just went over it a little bit, but yeah, that is exactly what I'm talking about. But thank you for tuning into the stream, my guy. Yeah, this is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem in the future because we are facing a population collapse, and we're not going to have enough people to do things that we need to get done. And this is going to be a further problem if they are successful in controlling the population in Africa. But we have one country that is saying no to this, and it is the country of Namibia. So let's read this article from Lucas Time. Like, what the hell? But this is true. I heard about this as well. So in a bold assertion of national sovereignty, Namibia's president, Her Excellency Netumbo, oh boy, here we go. Netumbo Nandi. Do you have any problem with Africa? No, bro, I don't have a problem with Africa at all, man. I love Africa, and that's why I'm making the video, because I don't want the population control to start in Africa. I want nature to just take over, and like, if women want to have kids, they have kids. They're pushing this and forcing people to take contraceptives in Africa in order to empower women, right? But Africa has been just fine without all of the contraceptives. Algeria, yeah, we get that. Yeah. So, yeah, I know that. Algeria is in Africa. But you have to think about it. The impoverished nations in Africa, the underrepresented, they haven't had contraceptives like what they're trying to push here. Probably never. And Bill and Melinda Gates are actually trying to push this on the continent. So Her Excellency Netumbo Nandi, I'm not pronouncing that name, bro, has rejected a proposal by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to conduct trials of hormone intrauterine device in the country. The long-acting contraceptive designed to prevent pregnancy for up to 8 years was presented as a way to expand reproductive options. However, the president of Namibia, Africa's first female elected head of state, and this is coming from a woman, right? She's rejecting contraceptives. Denounced the plan as an affront to Namibia's dignity and a threat to its population growth. Namibia is a nation of modest size, with a population of just over 3 million. If any country should consider measures to curb population growth, it ought to be nations like the United States. With over 347 million people, any attempt to hinder or suppress the growth of human potential in Namibia constitutes a grave injustice to our people and their future, she said in a public statement. Bruh, this is coming from a woman from an African country, and she says no. This is crazy. Namibia, one of the world's least densely populated nations, has historically pushed back against foreign-led population control programs. The president questioned why such trials are being targeted at African countries rather than densely populated nations with larger environmental footprints. She has a point there, bro. Whew, this article, how long is this article, bro? She also raised concerns about informed consent, long-term health implications, and the historical memory of colonial control over African bodies. Namibian women are not lab rats. We will not accept interventions that sideline our people in decisions about their own reproductive futures, she said. Crazy, bro. The foundation, okay, we know about the 2.5 billion. So this is insane, bro. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, so Namibia is saying no. And this is coming from a woman that is the president of an African nation. So if Melinda Gates is saying that all women in Africa want contraceptives, the president of an entire country says they don't. They don't want any type of population control in their country. And I agree. I agree it should be an option, right? But there's a catch, bro. If something is free, then you're the product. If something is free, you are the product, bro. So something's up here. Something is up. And what is Bill Gates' obsession with Africa? And this is posted in the Nigeria subreddit. So I'm just curious. I'm gonna make the text bigger. So this is from let's see. People were saying easiest place to make the most impact with small effort. That's true. Also harder to criticize actions out due to limited surveillance mechanisms. Also the part of the world with the greatest relative proportion of needy people. Let's see. This is insane, man. So I'm inclined to boils down to a mistrust of science, which isn't peculiar to Africans. In the U.S., so many people didn't and still don't trust vaccines, and that's true. They were convinced that it causes autism in some extreme cases. Some people believe that the disease or other diseases are snuck into the vaccines. So many Americans died needlessly because of this distrust. Until this day, there are many who still distrust it. That's true. A lot of people in the U.S. and around the world don't really trust vaccines. And the Gates Foundation also tried to push vaccines as well during the COVID epidemic or pandemic in 2020. So this is pretty interesting. Because Bill Gates has been around for a long time and he is an easy explanation for complicated problems. when you dabble in conspiracies, you don't have to deal with the facts and numbers and just That's true, man. And this is why we're going after the facts first. I don't really have you know, anything in this race, right? I don't have to choose one way or the other, but I'm just thinking that this is kind of insane that they're pushing contraceptives on Africa. But there is another thing that I ran into as well. Bill Gates thinks that GMOs will end starvation in Africa. And this is kind of off topic, but I wanted to kind of look at this video and see what this dude is thinking.
Just a quick question about farming. You both have talked about how digital technologies from mobile phones to sequencing genomes of seeds could play a very big role in farming in Africa. How big of a role do you see small farmers playing in this effort? Are you focusing on bigger farmers? Just how is this going to play out?
We are quite focused on smallholder farmers because the predominant number of Africans farming today are smallholder farmers, and they're on pieces of land that are less than 2 hectares, so it's quite a small farm. There are agro dealers that exist in these countries. We need to get that network up and running, just like we've got the vaccine network up and running and getting vaccines out, getting up and running so they're teaching people proper planting, proper fertilize, proper irrigation, and getting them new seeds as they come out. There's fantastic technology going on for pest-resistant seeds, for drought-resistant seeds, flood-resistant seeds as the rains come at different times. And so as people are educated about them and they start to see their neighbors getting, a third more yield off their farm, they say, I want those. So getting those systems up and running. Again, one of the most promising places we see that happening is Ethiopia today. They really have gotten their infrastructure and agriculture working, and that will lift up not just farmers on their own farm so they have more to eat, but they can put it on the local market and it lifts up the economy.
Mm-hmm. There's been talk of gene editing and really getting high tech with seeds. Of course, there's some controversy over that. How big of a role do you think technology and gene editing may be used to really tackle the food problem?
Yeah, what are called GMOs are done by changing the genes of the plant, and it's done in a way where there's a very thorough safety procedure, and it's pretty incredible because it reduces the amount of pesticide you need, raises productivity, can help with malnutrition by getting vitamin fortification, and so I think for Africa this is going to make a huge difference, particularly as they face climate change, the increased productivity and resilience of the seeds, most of which will come from the new scientific techniques. So the gene editing just allows that to be done in a more precise way than it's ever been done in the past. So it'll accelerate the rate of innovation.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there's a certain naivete that without that it could be done anyway? That you've seen the results on the ground of conventional.
The Africans, it's up in the air, and Kenya just approved BT maize. The Europeans have decided they don't want to use it, most of them, which is fine. They're not facing malnutrition and starvation. If they want to pay a premium for food of a kind, it's not a huge deal. The U.S., China, Brazil are using these things, and if you want farmers in Africa to improve nutrition and be competitive on the world market, as long as the right safety things are done, that's really beneficial. It's kind of a second round of the green revolution.
I think the reason why that Europe doesn't want GMO seeds, for the most part, is because it's banned. The majority of the stuff that we eat here in America or in North America as a whole, a lot of the ingredients that are in our foods that we eat every single day, those ingredients are banned in Europe. If you go to Europe and you look at you compare the ingredients on the packaging for like Cheetos or Lay's or even ketchup or Captain Crunch for that matter, you're going to see a stark difference in the ingredients in both. And now Bill Gates or the Gates Foundation, because it's both of them, they want to put GMOs in Africa and use the excuse that it will end starvation. I don't know, bro. I don't know. And GMOs, man, I try to stay away from them as much as possible here in the U.S. I try to eat whole foods and really eat things that add nutrition to my body. But GMOs in Africa, on one hand, I do agree that, hey, if you can make it drought resistant or require less pesticides, it may be a net win for the continent. But still, people have this terrible connotation and attachment to GMOs and them being bad, right? But when you grow when you grow fruit and the fruit doesn't have seeds in it, it's, to me, I think that's probably the worst thing for your body, bro. If you really think about it, like when I'm here in America, it's very difficult to find seeded watermelon. The simplest, like the best fruit on earth, I think, in my opinion, is watermelon. And I'd be hard pressed to find seeded watermelon anywhere here unless it's being sold on the street or by a small farmer, or you go to a farmer's market. Because if you go to like a Walmart, you go to a Sprouts, 99% of the time you're going to find seedless watermelon, bro. Like, why do we need seedless watermelon? I don't think it's going to provide any additional nutrition to your body. Just leave it alone. If we have the option to have seeded watermelon, give us that. Ooh, they have it right here. So are GMOs good or bad? Oh, bro, we got to watch this, guys. We got to watch this because I don't like GMOs, but they may have changed over the years. I don't know, bro. Let's watch it.
GMOs are one of the most controversial areas of science. Genetic engineering is used in many fields, but even though medical applications like GM insulin are widely accepted, the debate heats up when it comes to food and agriculture. Why is that? Why is the same thing treated so differently? Let's try to get to the bottom of this and explore the facts, the fears, and the future of GMOs.
Okay.
Humans have been genetically modifying plants and animals for thousands of years. Maybe a few of your crops had very good yields, maybe one of your wolves was especially loyal. So you did the smart thing and bred the plants and animals that had traits beneficial to you. Traits are just an expression of genes. So with each generation, those genes got more pronounced. After thousands of years, almost every single plant and animal around us is vastly different from its pre-domesticated state. If humans have been changing genes for millennia, what makes a so-called genetically modified organism, or GMO, different? Selective breeding is basically hoping for lucky hits. Genetic engineering eliminates this factor. We can choose the traits we want, make fruit grow bigger, immune to pests, and so on. So why are people concerned about them?
Yo, this is wild, bro.
Let's start with one of the most common objections to GMOs. Gene flow, meaning GM crops could mix with traditional crops and introduce unwanted new characteristics into them. There is a method that might guarantee complete prevention, but is a big anti-GMO argument by itself: Terminator seeds. The idea is that they could produce sterile plants, requiring farmers to buy new seeds every year. The very concept of this, however, caused a public outcry, stopping the technology being put to use. This brings us back to the unintentional spreading of engineered DNA. There have been cases of GMOs growing where they weren't planted and traces of modified genes found in foreign crops.
Oh, whoa.
But GM plants can't run wild entirely. Many crops pollinate themselves, and all crops have to be related to mingle. There are also cultural methods like buffer zones to keep unintentional crossing at a minimum. But if it's possible in principle that a GMO could unintentionally cross with a non-GMO, there's actually a more important question. Is food that comes from GM crops different to food from non-GM crops? This question has been a major concern from the very beginning. GM plants that are destined to be eaten are checked for possible dangers, and the results are evaluated by multiple agencies.
Okay.
After more than 30 years and thousands of studies, the science is in. Eating GMO plants is no more risky than their non-GMO equivalent.
Okay.
But don't just take our word for it. Sources for this and other claims are in the video description. But what about plants that have been engineered to be toxic? For example, Bt crops. A gene borrowed from the bacterium Bacillus thuringiensis lets engineered plants produce a protein that destroys the digestive system of specific insect pests. The plant makes its own pesticide. Insects that eat it die. That sounds alarming. Pesticide sprays can be washed off, while the poison in Bt crops is inside the plant. But actually, it's not a big deal. Poison is really just a question of different perspectives. What's harmless to one species might kill another. Coffee, for example, is a poison that kills insects but is harmless to us. Or take chocolate. It's dangerous for dogs, but a pleasure for humans.
Fair point. Fair point.
Bt crops produce a protein that is tailored to the specific design of the digestive tract of certain insects. It's completely harmless for us. There's also the opposite approach. Plants that are engineered to be resistant to certain weed killers. This way, farmers can use them widely, killing the other plants competing for resources without harming the crop. Here we get to the dark underbelly of GMOs. For the pesticide industry, they are big business. Over 90% of all cash crops in the US are herbicide resistant, mostly to glyphosate. As a result, the use of glyphosate has increased greatly. That isn't only bad. Glyphosate is much less harmful to humans than many other herbicides. Still, this means farmers have a strong incentive to rely on this one method only, casting more balanced ways of managing weeds aside. That's one of the most fundamental problems with the GMO debate. Much of the criticism of this technology is actually criticism of modern agriculture and the business practice of the huge corporations that control our food supply. This criticism is not only valid, it's also important. We need to change agriculture to a more sustainable model. GMOs as a technology are actually an ally and not an enemy in that fight, helping to save and protect nature and minimize our impact on the environment.
What good GMOs can do. Interesting.
Let's look at some positive examples. Eggplant is an important crop in Bangladesh, but often whole harvests are destroyed by pests. Farmers had to rely heavily on pesticides. Not only was this very expensive, farmers also frequently got sick. The introduction of a new GM eggplant in 2013 stopped this. The same Bt protein we talked about before, an effective killer of insects but harmless to humans, was engineered into them. This reduced insecticide use on eggplants by more than 80%. The health of farmers improved and their income rose dramatically. And sometimes a GM approach is the only option. In the 1990s, the papaya industry in Hawaii was under attack from the ring spot virus, which threatened to wipe out Hawaiian papaya.
Whoa.
The solution was a papaya genetically modified to be vaccinated against the virus. Without it, the state's papaya industry would have collapsed.
Okay. See, I didn't know that. See?
All these stories show a very narrow application. 99% of all GMOs we use right now produce pesticides or are resistant against them. There is so much more we could do. Scientists are working on GMOs that could improve our diet. Plants that produce more or different nutrients, like fruit with higher antioxidant levels that help to fight diseases, or rice with additional vitamins. On a larger scale, we're trying to engineer plants that are more resilient to climate change. Plants that can better adapt to erratic weather and adverse soil conditions, making them resistant to droughts or floods. GMOs could also not only reduce agriculture's impact on the environment, but actively help to protect it. Scientists are working on crops that can draw nitrogen from the air like microbes. Nitrogen is a common fertilizer, but its buildup pollutes the groundwater and speeds up climate change. Plants that collect their own nitrogen could fix two problems at once: the overuse of fertilizers in the developed world, as well as the shortage of it in developing countries. We could even modify plants to become super effective carbon collectors like the American chestnut tree, to mitigate and actually reverse climate change. With the tools we have today, our imagination is the limit. The world eats 11 million pounds of food every day.
Damn.
A UN estimate suggests we'll need 70% more by 2050. We could grow that food by clearing more and more forest to create fields and pastures, and by using more pesticides. Or we find a way to do it on the land we've got right now with more effective methods like GM crops. Intensifying farming instead of expanding it means GMOs could become the new organic. In a nutshell, GMOs have the potential to not only drastically change agriculture, but to also dampen the effects of our own irresponsible behavior. GMOs could be our most powerful weapon to save our biosphere. This video took more than 600 hours to make.
Damn, 600 hours, bro? Which crazy. I don't know, man. Like hearing Bill Gates like say that GMOs could provide enough food to solve like the like famines and in Africa. I don't know, man. And then we watch this video, right? It says, are GMOs good or bad? And it says that they could be good. They could be like drought resistant and just grow in very adverse environments. And I think that's kind of what we need. In a way, I'm low key agreeing with Bill Gates, and maybe that can help Africa solve its food problem that they have right now. And I don't know if he's still pure. I don't know if he's still pure evil. After watching that video and then talking about the contraception, bro, this is a very controversial topic because are contraceptives good for a certain subset of women that kind of require it because of like health issues? Yes, 100%. Protect the women and make sure that they're in good health if they decide not to have a kid, right? But does every person in Africa need contraceptives? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And that's why that Namibia said no. Namibia said no to the contraceptives from the Gates Foundation. So not everyone needs it, but I still think it should be an option like how it is available here in the USA. It should be an option. It shouldn't be something pushed as like, oh, if you take this contraceptive, you'll unlock the ability to contribute to society and enter the work field in the workplace. You can already do that without contraception. So they have to come up with a much better option or much better reasoning for other African countries that are still developing in order to accept this. So nice try, Bill. But I don't think it's going to be successful, my dude, especially in Namibia. They already said no. And Kenya may have given you guys a whole bunch of power as far as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. But even, I don't know about Kenya. Kenya may be able to say no as well once they hear the reasonings from Namibia, right? I hope that contraceptives in Africa are well-intentioned for the women that truly need it. And there are women that truly need contraception if they have like health issues or reproductive issues that cause them pain. And if that contraceptive actually helps them, I would say I'm all in. Help them. Help the women. Help them feel better. Help them take control of their lives. But if you're really trying to depopulate or control the population in Africa, nah, man, I'm not with that. I'm not with that. Help the people that need it. Help the people that freaking need it. Okay? I think that's going to be it for today. I do want to play an ad for one of our sponsors real quick before we leave. So you guys take a look and make sure you pay attention. Let's see. All right, guys. So I have another way to help support the YouTube channel, and we have a merch shop. If you visit trippinwithj.com, and the link is in the description box below, we can go ahead and look at the exclusive merch that's available, along with the latest releases from the YouTube channel and Instagram, and an opportunity to donate and support the channel, along with a free newsletter. So you guys can see I have branded hoodies from Adidas. What? And go ahead and purchase this here. And for the first couple of orders, you do get 10% off. And we have a nice hat here as well for $29 before your discount. So be sure to go ahead and support the channel at trippinwithj.com. And the link is in the description box below. Now back to the reaction. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know this was not the most interesting topic to talk about, but I still think it's important to make people aware that the super duper evil Bill and Melinda Gates, yes, they haven't been in the best of favors lately, but if they're truly helping people, they're truly helping the women of Africa that need contraceptives, I'm all for it. But if they're trying to control the population, I'm not with it. So that's it. And let me know what you guys think about the Gates Foundation pushing IUDs in some countries in Africa down in the comments below. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel and visit trippinwithj.com for everything you'll need regarding this channel, man. We have merch there. We have the latest videos, the latest shorts, newsletter you can sign up for free. And you can donate directly to the channel to help support and make this channel better. But that is going to be it for today, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on Saturday for a very special subathon. I'm going to be streaming reaction videos. I might play some Call of Duty. I don't know, man. Just tune in. Make sure you're subscribed and you tune in on Saturday morning. I'll be here entertaining you guys, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening. My name is Jay. You've been Trippin' with Jay. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Peace.